Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Remember to hit the notification bell, remember to like, share and subscribe. Remember to tell a friend, tell your mother, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your father, tell everybody who you can tell. All right? So guys, remember, these are topics that we actually face on a day-to-day basis that I do discuss, right? These are topics that we can actually relate, right? So today our topic will be on workplace bullying. What is workplace bullying, guys? Or what is bullying? So bullying is usually seen as an act or a verbal comment that could physically or mentally hurt someone, right? Or isolate that person in the workplace. Sometimes bullying can involve negative physical contact as well. Bullying usually involves repeating incidents or patterns or repetitive, incident or patterns of behavior that is intended to intimidate, offend, degrade, or humiliate a particular person, right? Or a group of people. It is also being described as assertion or power through aggression. All right? So let me repeat it again. So bullying, it is usually seen as an act or a verbal comment that could physically or mentally hurt or isolate a person in the workplace. Sometimes bullying can involve negative physical contact as well. Bullying usually includes repeated incident or pattern of behavior that is intended or intimidate, often degrade or humiliate a particular person or a group of people. It could also be considered or described as the assertion of power through aggression. Okay? So that was workplace bullying. Now let's move forward. Is bullying a workplace issue? What do you think? Yes, it is, and I'll tell you why it is. Bullying is a workplace issue. In Canada, the occupational health and safety law includes the concept of due diligence. Due diligence means that employers should take all reasonable precaution under the particular circumstances to prevent injuries or incident in the workplace. Every person should be able to work in a safe and healthy workplace. The legislation in your jurisdiction will describe the roles and responsibility for workplace parties with respect to workplace harassment and violence, including developing and implementing policies and programs, right? To prevent workplace bullying issues, right? So, guys, those are things that we do face on a day to day. Those are things that we are faced with challenges on a day to day basis in the workplace. And what can our employer do? Right? So, these are things that your employer can do, right? So let's get into it and let's talk about it, okay? Are you guys ready? Okay. So, a workplace violence and harassment prevention program should be developed, right? It should be developed by management and employee representatives. Apply to management, employees, clients, independent contractors, and anyone who has relationship with your company. Define what you mean by workplace bullying, right? Provide clear examples of unacceptable behavior and workplace condition. State in clear terms your organization views towards workplace bullying, its commitment to prevention of workplace bullying. Precisely state the consequences of making threats or committing acts. Outline the process by which prevention measurements will be developed or implemented. Encourage report of any incident of bullying or other form of workplace harassment and violence. Outline the confidential process by which employees, including witnesses, can report incident and to whom. Right? Assure no reappraisals will be made against employees who choose to report their experience. Outline the procedures for investigation and resolving complaints. Right? Make a commitment to monitor and to regulate and to review the policies of your workplace or your organization. Those are things that the management or the supervisors should do. Maintain confidentiality during the resolution process. Describe how information about potential risk of bullying and violence will be communicated to employees. Make a commitment to provide support services to victims. Okay? Make a commitment to fulfill the prevention training needs to different levels of personnel within the organization. So those are things that the employer should stipulate for their workplace guidelines. What are some general tips for the workplace? So, some general tips is to encourage everyone at the workplace to act towards others in a respectful and professional manner. Have a workplace policy in place that includes a reporting system. Educate everyone that bullying is a serious matter or a serious offense. Try to work out solution before the situation gets serious or out of control. Educate everyone about what is considered bullying and to whom they can go to for help. Treat all complaints seriously and deal with complaints promptly and confidentially. Train supervisors and managers in how to deal with complaints and potential situations. Encourage them to address situation promptly, whether or not a formal complaint has been filed. Okay, so those are tips. Those are pointers. Treat all complaints seriously and deal with the complaints promptly and confidential. Do not ignore any potential problem. Do not delay resolution. Act as soon as possible. Right? Have an impartial third party to help with resolution if necessary. So these are things that your employers need to have put in place, okay, to avoid workplace harassment. Their stipulations, their policy, their guidelines, their ground lines within the organization. Okay? So if by any chance you feel or you think that you are being harassed in your workplace and you have made a complaint to your supervisor or your superior and nothing is done, you can file a complaint. And I will give you the number right now if you need more help for the contact safety info line. This is the number that I will provide you with that you can call and you can get more information. Okay, so if you're faced with something like that, here are two numbers. You have 905 572 2981. And for the toll free, you have 1-800 668 4284. These are the numbers here in Canada that you can use if you feel or you think you are being bullied in your workplace and you find your employer or your supervisor or your management team is not doing anything about it. Okay? You can go ahead and you can get your information and you can also file your complaints. You can also look up for the OSH as well, okay? So you can look it up. You can look up the Canadian Safety Council. You can also look up your human rights laws. Because guys, as you know, workplace bullying is a persistent pattern of mistreatment from others in the workplace that causes either physical or emotional harm. It can include such tactics as verbal, non-verbal, physical abuse, as well as humiliation. Okay? So these are things that we do face on a day-to-day basis. And, you know, also with different types of workplace harassment. So over the period of time within the workplace, you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, I might not face it, you might not face it, but somebody that we know might have faced it, right? Because these are things that we experience on a day-to-day basis, and it is an experience of an increase in the number of complaints, right, for these type of things on a day-to-day basis. So guys, how to address if you're being harassed, if you're being bullied, so how to address it. So this is, you have to go in order, and I'll tell you how to go in order. So like I said, managers and supervisors are expected to monitor the workplace for signs of potential harassment or bullying and intervene in a timely and responsive manner, right? This requires effective, respectful workplace training by a qualified workplace consultant. Okay, so from time to time, it is good for your employers or your supervisors to have a sit down with each and every individuals and to discuss and to find out, is everything going great? Try to get more closer, when I say closer, with your workers, but at least get to know them and take initiative and take interest in knowing what is happening. Okay, not because you employ them, that doesn't mean that because you employ them, they come in, they do the work, and you get whatever you want done and they just leave like that. No, you gotta build a relationship. You gotta take them one by one. You gotta sit down with them. You gotta talk to them, and you gotta find out, is everything going great? What is going on? Those type of things. Because at times we are busy, right? At times management is busy. They don't even have time to really know exactly what is happening around them. Not only that, sometimes, when things are going wrong and individuals go and approach and explain or express themselves, it's been swept under the carpet and been ignored. Nothing is being done. You understand? Or there's favoritism in a sense where, because you're in favor of a specific individual, and if that person come and say, you know what, this person did something to me or whatever the case, and because you're in favor of that individual, you're like, oh, I'm not even gonna say anything. And don't do that. You treat everyone with respect, with dignity. You understand me? You're supposed to do what is right. All right. So some final thoughts. Did you know workplace harassment can occur on or off site? Yes, it can. It can, and it does happen. And it can also take place at off-duty social functions. Workplace harassment can involve misconduct or inappropriate statements by clients, patients, customers, members of the public, and contractors. Employees or manager who retaliate against employees who file personal harassment or bullying complaints can be subjected of separate complaints based solely on the indirect or direct retaliation, right? Employees who intentionally and or repetitively file personal harassment / bullying complaints against co-workers or supervisors for an improper motive or purpose may find themselves facing discipline for filing a malicious or a vexatious complaint. So guys, these things are being faced on a day-to-day basis, which one should not ignore. Okay? These are things that we cannot sit back and turn a blind eye to. Alright? So while bullying is form of aggressions, the actions can be both obviously and subtle. It is important to note that the following is not a checklist, nor does it mention all forms of bullying. There is no way to predict who can be bullied or the target, right? So this list, and here are a list of examples of bullying, right? So spreading malicious rumors, gossiping, right? Those are things that we all do. We gossip. We gossip till sometimes we even tell lie. Sometimes we spread malicious rumor against somebody because we have a vendetta against the person because we don't like that individual for whatever reason. We exclude or isolate someone from social events, social gathering because what? Because we don't like them. They're not our friends, so we don't involve them in things. Okay? Undermining or deliberately impeding a person's work, removing areas of responsibility without a cause, constantly changing work guidelines, establishing impossible deadlines that will set up the individual to fail, withholding necessary information or purposefully giving wrong information, making jokes that are obviously offensive by spoken words or email. So those are things which is examples of being bullied. Right? Those are things that is actually example of bullying. Right? Assigning unreasonable duties or overwork which are unfavorable to one person in a way that creates unnecessary pressure. On the work, creating a feel of uselessness, yelling, screaming, or using profanity, criticizing a person persistently or constantly, belittling a person's opinion, right? Unwarranted or undeserved punishment, blocking applications for training, leave, or promotion. Those are bullying. It is actually a sign or an example of bullying. It is not me said it. Go look up in your legislation. Okay? What might not be considered bullying? So we have to know the difference, guys. So if, per se, as an example, your employer would like to give you a feedback on your work ethics, it is good to take criticism because it helps you to grow. It helps you to change and to see where you're going wrong and how best you can improve. And it is not wrong for your superior to do that. It is not a sign of bullying. They have all reasonable or rationality to do those things. Okay? So comments that are objective, right? And are intended to provide constructive feedbacks are not usually considered bullying, but are rather intended to assist the employees with their work. So expressing an opinion about something, they're not doing anything wrong. It is not being a sign of bullying. That is not a sign of bullying. If your manager come up to you and expressing their opinion on something to you, that is not being bullied. So we have to know the difference. Right? They have to give advice about work relative behaviors. Anything with work, they have to give you feedback. They have to offer constructive feedback. Okay? So even if per se they change your work assignment, it doesn't mean they're bullying you. They have to have reasonable grounds for doing so. If they don't have reasonable grounds for doing so, it is a form of bullying. It is. We have to know the difference. They have to have reasonable, substantial reason being why they are changing your job assignments. If they're implementing health and safety measurements, it's not being bullied. They have to do it. They have to do it. They have to make the workplace safe and function in a safe and healthy environment for both the employer and the employees. It's not being bullied. Delivering work instructions, that's not being bullied. Assessing and evaluating work performance, they have to do those things. Implementing disciplinary actions, they have to do those things. It is not being bullied. We have to know the difference. Okay? So we have to know the difference what bullying is and what is not. People are the target of bullying. They may experience a range of effect. These reaction includes, so how can bullying affect an individual? Bullying can definitely affect an individual by creating trauma, anger, shock, feeling of frustration and or helplessness, increasing sense of vulnerability, loss of confidence, right? Inability to sleep, loss of appetite, stomach pain, headaches, panic and anxiety, especially about going to work. So those are things that can affect an individual when they are faced with being bullied on a day-to-day basis. Okay? How can bullying affect the workplace? Bullying affects the overall health of an organization, and an unhealthy workplace can have many effects in general. These effects include, so once again I'll read the topic again. How can bullying affect the workplace? Bullying affect the overall health of an organization or workplace, right? It does, because if it is unhealthy, if the environment, the surrounding, it is unhealthy, right? The people within, because of their behaviors, their toxic behaviors, makes it an unhealthy environment, right? And it can have many effects in general, and these effects include increased turnovers, increased stress, increased cost of employee assistance program, increased risk of incident, decreased productivity and motivation, decreased morals, reduce corporate imaging and customer confidence, and poor customer service. So those are the things that affects the workplace, makes it to be an unhealthy organization or an unhealthy surrounding. Okay? Toxicity. What can you do if you think you are being bullied? So these are things that you can do, guys, if you feel or you think you are being bullied. So if you feel you are being bullied, discriminated against, victimized, or subjected to any form of harassment, you can do the followings. Firmly tell the person that his or her behavior is not acceptable and ask them to stop. You can ask a person you trust, such as your supervisor or your union manager or your union rep, to be with you when you approach the person. Keep a fractured journal or diary of the event and record the date, the time, and what happened in such a detail as possible. The name of the witness, the outcome of the event. Remember, it is not just a character of the incident, but intent of the behavior and the number, the frequencies, especially the pattern that can reveal the bullying, right? Or harassment. Keep copies of any letter, memos, emails, etc. received from the person. Report the bullying or the harassment to the person identified in your workplace policy, your supervisor, or a delegated manager. If your concerns are minimized, proceed to the next level of management. Okay? Do not retaliate. You may end up looking like the perpetrator, and you will most certainly cause confusion for those responsible for evaluating and responding to the situation. All right. What can an employer do? So the employer, these are the things they can do. Be developed by management and employee representative. Apply to management, employee, client, independent contractors, and anyone who has a relationship with your company. Define what you mean by workplace bullying and harassment and violence in precise, concrete language. Provide clear example, right? Unacceptable behavior and working condition. State in clear terms your organization views towards workplace bullying and its commitment to the prevention of workplace bullying. Precisely state the consequences of making, right, threats or committing acts. Outline the process by which preventative measurements will be developed and implemented. Encourage reporting of any incident of bullying or other forms of workplace harassment and violence. Outline the confidential process by which employees, include witnesses, can report incidents and to whom. Assure no reappraisal, right, will be made. Right? And outline procedures for investigation and resolving complaints. So those are things that your actual employer can do. Make a commitment and monitor and regularly reviewing the policies and state applicable regulator requirements where possible. All right? Describe how information about potential risk of bullying and violence will be communicated to employee. So those are little things that your employers can put in place. They can implement and keep, the policy within the workplace. And these are things that needs to be reviewed, right? They have to review these things yearly, or bear in mind every now and then. What are some general tips for the workplace? Encourage everyone at the workplace to act towards others in a respectful manner or professional manner. Have a workplace policy in place, including reporting system, educating everyone that bullying is a serious offense. Try to work out solution before situation gets serious. So guys, those are things that, those are little tips that we can use to implement. Okay. So guys, and here is the actual number you can call, guys, if you feel you are being bullied. If you need help, this is the safety information line. So here is the number I will provide you guys that you can use here in Canada. The area code will be 905-572-2981 or toll free at 1-800-668-4284. So you can call and you can get or ask any question, get your information if you feel or you think you are being violated, okay, and you feel as if your complaint is not being heard. All right, so those are, you know, the phone numbers that you can get information from. All right, so guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and remember to live, love, laugh, embrace life. Remember to smile a while and give your face a rest. Remember to share. Remember, guys, to help somebody along the way if you can. Help somebody that's in need. Okay, so guys, remember to hit the notification bell. Remember to tell a friend. Share the broadcast, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your love and thanks for your support. Have a blessed night. Stay blessed. Stay prayed up.